This extract is taken from the 12th Corps Spearhead of Patton's 3rd Army by Lieutenant Colonel George Dyer, formerly Combat Liaison Officer and Special Assistant to the Chief of Staff, Headquarters, the 12th US Army Corps, and describes in detail the operation of Buco, that is the Build-Up and Command Organisation, which is based in the Civic Centre at Southampton. Of course, when we moved to Bremer, says the Corps Combat Support, our only job was to get the 12th Corps and the 3rd Army to France. About 1/4 of Army had gone to France. When we got down there, Major General John S. Wood was moving to France on the day I got down there. A shipping schedule had been worked out, but this broke down due to some units being lost, others not arriving on time, or because of the inability to obtain proper equipment. Part of the combat support's job was that of making an educated guess as to just when a unit would be ready and then assigning it to shipping date. This schedule then had to be worked out with Buco, who did the shipping. To add to the confusion, phantom telephone calls would be received from Army requesting that certain units be immediately shipped. Sometimes these units were not ready or had not even arrived. The connections were always bad, and guesses had to be made as to just what unit and strength were required. At other times units would be ready ahead of schedule, and the Navy had to be persuaded to take them as soon as possible, the joint aim being to keep the boats running continuously. 12th Corps, acting for Army, practically took over Cheltenham and ran it, but it required running the wheels off the jeeps to keep it going. What this meant in the 12th Corps staff sections has been excellently summarised by Major William Shop Shepherd, a friendly, capable artillery officer out of Princeton, Fort Still and Leavenworth. I was working in G3 troop movements, the hot seat for the operation if ever there was one. We were responsible for moving all our corps, most of 3rd Army and the 20th Corps, across the Channel. I never worked so hard in my life. The system for moving troops to the far shore was based on previously established priority tables called build-up priority tables. There was Buco, Build-Up Control Organisation at Southampton, and Little Buco on the continent. Little Buco informed Buco what troops to move. Buco then sent movement orders to the Transportation Corps, Embarco, and to us. Embarco was actually supposed to move the units to the marshalling area. If that system had worked, the job would have been simple, but unfortunately many units were not equipped when they received movement orders, so they would be bypassed. That is where the complications started and did not end until we developed a closely coordinated system using all the special staff sections concerned, plus very close cooperation between G3 and G4. It was necessary to maintain daily lists of units that were ready to ship, and I supposed further sent to Little Buco. Then Little Buco called only the units that our G4 had certified as being ready for movement. Our job was mostly a bookkeeping one, maintaining daily long status lists of what units were ready, which ones were short critical items of equipment, which were alerted for movement to the marshalling area, and which had actually landed on the far shore. That the special staff as well as the general staff was being driven hard during these days is suggested in a recollection of Major Ed Johnson, on whose shoulders fell the ordnance burdens of the Z Group. We had a devil of a time with spare parts and all their ordnance equipment in order to replace combat losses, but as it was, they arrived about 75% complete. As a result, we had to send them to the continent in a terrific rush, and it was a race against time. The rear detachment did a wonderful job equipping the troops with artillery pieces to get them into the fight as quickly as possible. Naturally, not only ordnance was devoting special concern to artillery problems. This is General Lentz's picture of what was going on from his angle. We finally received a tremendous command. We were slated to cross the Channel last. Due to the conditions in France, all the timetables were pushed up. which created some confusion. I suddenly found that I had 48 battalions scattered all over England, and I did not even know where some of them were. We had to get them equipped, listed on a priority list, and get them across the channel. In order to do that, we had to reorganise the supply setup insofar as it related to artillery equipment. 12th Corps Artillery also set up representation in General Lee's headquarters at Cheltenham. Thus, in a little more than the usual rat race, the last days of 12th Corps period in England sped up. The stupendous flights of bombers flying overhead by night and day, as well as the very nature of the job in hand, served as constant reminders that there was a war going on over there, and the 12th Corps was heading for it.